Hello, everybody, and welcome to the director's commentary for Of Dice and Men, episode 4. If you haven't seen director's commentary before, it's pretty self-explanatory. I will go through and chat about what's happening as it appears on screen, and we'll talk about the game from a DM standpoint. Director, DM, I think they're interchangeable in this situation. So let's just start. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Of Dice and Men. Wow, look at that reputation. Reputation? So this is the fourth episode. In this episode, the players are still dealing with the haunted house. Let's just see where we are. Is there anything we want to talk about or discuss before our game gets going? We're going to skip ahead a bit in time.
Wait, whoa, why does that fall on me? A haunted stolen goods from the very mind that blows good.
Game. I believe it is Tuesday, the 8th of January, 1512. You guys are all at 1 HP. I'm trying to find a way to modulate volume and where we are in the time. It's not working too well. But the reason that I keep mentioning the dates is because the dates are pretty important. It is, what was it, like January 15th, 1512 or whatever it was. And that's an important date because the events of everything happening in the world, as we mention quite often, are all sort of intertwined. And there will be certain things that happen on certain days in other parts of the world, and finding when these things overlap and intertwine is important. So always keep an eye on the date if you're involved in other shows and other productions.
Multiple times.
Yeah, about 3 now, but that's all right, you know? If you don't almost die, then what's the point of fighting at all?
Death. I'm almost dying every day. I'd like to live the remainder of my lives. And
Toki, you're not even that old.
Daff, I'm 133 years old.
I mean, what? I'm
Fairly good banter between our players. I think we got some good group chemistry going on here.
I mean, I'm catching up on you. It's not too far.
Oh, you're still a young whippersnapper to me.
Nah, you know, Toki. Wait, I wanna drop my voice to like a seductive tone, okay?
Oh, okay.
You're looking great for
No,
100 plus.
I did put on some new makeup recently.
You're looking great.
So did you have any girlfriends in the past, Steph?
Oh yes, of course, but none at the moment.
Now, Daff, I'm a very jealous sort of dwarf, and I'd really appreciate it if our new member was a male.
You know, Toki, that might be able to be arranged.
You are a great leader. I don't regret coming.
I'm glad that our players can do some nice interaction and flirting between themselves. It's great when players flirt between each other instead of trying to flirt with me, or NPCs, I should say.
I'm
That's
so
just
seduced right now, Kat. I mean,
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
We're gonna skip ahead, all right? We're just gonna skip ahead. There are definitely sort of the rough and tumble sort of bars where you might be able to find a strong man to help you out with something. So the party's looking for a replacement for their muscle,
I want to go check out.
right? And clearly Lenny, with the handwritten name instead of the properly typed name, is going to be the replacement. And this is the part where they go and take a look. They find a sketchy-ass bar, and we're going to listen for a little while.
One of my favorite taverns. They have some good ale.
Yeah. Expensive, though.
And down here in the Slizzle Snout, you find this sort of that name. This big, tall guy with a large barrel chest, no shirt on. He's got a two-handed axe propped up at the table next to him. He's got This description's important, so listen. It's not just some random nonsense. I'm going to even back it up a little bit. Pay close attention, children. You find this sort of This big, tall guy with a large barrel chest, no shirt on. He's got a two-handed axe propped up at the table next to him. He's got bits of leather wrapped around his forearms, around his shins as well. Tall boots that kind of come up halfway over the shin guards. Bald head with tattoos around it in circles. He's standing over at the bar chatting with the bartender, and this looks like the biggest, strongest guy you've ever seen. So that was my attempt at doing the show don't tell, where I'm trying to describe a fearsome warrior, but I don't feel like it came off particularly well. And so at the end, I'm like, he's the biggest, strongest guy you've ever seen. Like, that's where you're telling people you see a big, strong person. Whereas before, when I'm describing what he's wearing and the tattoos and the shin guards and the high boots and the blah, 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 and the axes and the yada yadas, is where I'm trying to, like, show them that this is a tough warrior that they might want to recruit. And that show don't tell is if you can do it right, is a great and important part of storytelling.
Do I know this guy?
Never seen him in your life.
Okay.
Alright, so
All right.
I can tap Daff. Check out that muscle head over there.
Yes, looks quite meaty, quite muscly. Quite.
I think
yes,
he
head.
could be. Shall we approach him together, or?
We shall, Toki. We shall. I think.
All right.
I think it'd be best to approach him head on. What do you think?
I agree with you. You are the leader after all, Daff.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Walk right up to him.
All right, you walk up to this guy who towers a good, 2 feet over you. Here we go. You're more showing. Half elf and you're a dwarf. So this he's 2 feet taller than you. That's a way to show the physical difference. You walk up to him and he slowly turns his head to face you, looking out of the corner of his eye, and grunts at you. What?
Hello. I'm Daff. I run a VOA, or various operations agency.
We're gonna get some nice introduction from Daff here.
Looking to hire someone of your caliber, someone who is muscly and meaty and tanky and can help us out on our rough and tough adventures.
You'd be paid, of course.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell. Wait, is this actually okay?
Do I know?
Wait for it.
Exactly, he'd be paid a month.
Wait for it.
I guess we don't really have an income.
You guys are kind
Or
of
salaries.
Yeah.
All right, I wanna try to persuade him by saying, we are the most well-known detective agency in town. We solve lots of mysteries, and we just did a very high-profile case requested by the Chancellor herself. We make lots of gold, and I'm sure joining VOA would be in your best interest. I want to give a charming half-elf bard smile.
Mm-hmm. You can see I'm trying to do the facial expressions of the NPC while they're chatting.
Nice place to stay.
Glory,
Fame.
your own room.
Your own room.
Breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast from a druid herself.
I make excellent scones.
Yes, and tea too.
I'm trying to get to a point here, but this is taking longer than I remember it taking.
Wait. Wait.
Okay.
What if I were to tell you that we made...
Let me stop you. Anyone who's offering breakfast and scones is not gonna fit with me. Okay. So here's where we're getting to the interesting bits. Your skulls with my hands and watch the blood run out of your eyes.
Okay, well, it's nice talking to you, sir. Let's go, Daff. I don't think this gentleman is interested in our endeavors.
So,
all right, well,
there's a couple reasons I want to point out this scene in particular. First off, the party thinks that they're gonna go recruit Lenny right off the bat. They feel like they're just gonna find him because they know they're getting a replacement player. They know the replacement player is the muscle. They know they're gonna find him. It's like, oh well, we'll just we'll go find him right now and it'll be a fun little adventure. And so they don't necessarily know that the NPC I'm introducing to them is an NPC. They might be under the impression it's actually Lenny. So this is a good opportunity to give them the here's your expectations and I'm going to pull the rug out from under you and it's actually not what you were expecting. And the other really good, important part of this scene, although I feel like it probably could have been done a little bit better, is the showing that the world is filled with people of a higher caliber than the party. Because the party's a bunch of third level fighters or third level adventurers, and I didn't do that great of a job of it and I'm a little bothered by it. But I'm attempting to show a 5th or a 6th level warrior here who's available in town for hire, for whatever, or just hanging out. and have the party like approach a person much higher in level, and then show how quickly rejected they are and how violent this person might be. I want to give the party a sense of the world is filled with dangerous people who are around, and it's not just like we're the center of the universe and everything revolves around us, although it sort of kind of does. I also want to be like, look, here's a dangerous person in the town nearby. And that way, later, if something happens and there's like a 7th level fighter with an axe walking down the street, it's not so sort of random. If I ever need to pull in some high level characters, it's not like they only appear when I need them and then vanish again. We want to be able to show that there are dangerous, cutthroat, mercenary types about. And that whole thing about like, I want to crush your skull and see the blood run out of your eyes, like, I'm trying to help foster maybe the sort of environment that they're in. They chose a skeevy bar, and that's what you're gonna find in a skeevy bar. See this other large hulking-ish figure, but not quite as big. You know, this guy's 6'6", 240 pounds, brown hair. You can see Mr. Moon right there realizes now I'm talking about him. But he looks broke as fuck, right? He's like got kind of a shirt on, and it's not buttoned up the front. It's like sort of bare chest, but you can tell it's because the buttons are missing. It's not like a style thing. His pants are sort of. And I don't know if Mr. Moon's necessarily happy with the description I'm giving of his character, but he's a good guy and he rolls with it. And literally nothing else. His sandals are a little tattered. He's got that like, I've been wandering the desert for days and days and I'm lost look in his eyes. He's a little sunburned.
I want to point him out to Toki and say, hey, look, he's poor. He needs us.
Oh.
I appreciated that line. That was really good.
Go on, Toki.
We go up to him. Young man.
All right, so now they're just going to go about recruiting Mr. Moon, which shouldn't be that difficult. And his introduction is great and his character's great, but that's not the purpose of this director's commentary. So we're, 12 minutes into the video, which is maybe 10 minutes into the actual session here. And we're finally getting Lenny involved, our replacement player that the party desperately needs. And we're going to skip ahead a little bit, because the recruitment is on point, but we don't need to chat about it anymore. So just skip ahead. To rest and relax. So you gotta show Lenny around. So they're in their downtime while they're trying to take themselves a long rest to regenerate HP and everything. And if we take a look at our handy dandy calendar, which probably doesn't come into focus for you, we're gonna find some interesting things here. You know, let me turn down that volume a little bit more. Going on in the meantime, like while they're taking this long rest, not only is Lady Sandra having to spend more time further away, but now there are more people being exposed to the fact that this place might be haunted just because the problem's not getting resolved very quickly. They like went in, fought a little bit. Now they're resting. Now they're going to take all this time, and the time that it takes for them to rest and solve these missions, sort of in game, you don't really feel its importance, but in the real world, not in the real world, in the meta world around it, becomes quite important indeed. If we remember, this quest originally, Lady Sandra was like, "Hey, I need you to do this quietly. I can't let you. I don't want people to find out about this. I want this to be a secret. Like, get rid of the ghost before anyone notices it." And she sort of emphasized that point pretty heavily. And now the party's taken a week off, which means that's a week for someone to notice a haunted house. Who knows? Maybe the ghosts show to other people. Maybe they only show to people in the house. No one really knows, but a week is plenty of time for someone to notice something, or maybe a burglar tries to sneak in and gets confronted by a ghost or whatever. And also there's the case of all the missing wealth from the mine, that other mission that they had that they're like, oh yeah, we'll totally do it, it's gonna be fine. And that's going cold in this week. You know, if you're trying to look for clues and it's been a couple weeks since the murder, the event happened, you're going to lose track of those clues, or you're going to lose track of where the people are. You know, if you go to a town and you say, has anyone seen a weird person with a lot of money come into town recently? And so that happened in the last day, someone might be like, oh yeah, there was that weird guy. But you come in like 2 weeks later, and maybe like the minor footnotes of there was a weird guy with some money that came to town, you know, surprisingly, that sort of thing people will forget, you know. So the longer you wait to begin your investigation, the fewer clues you're going to have, the worse people's memory is going to be about everything. It's just a terrible situation. So their week of downtime here, while mechanically it's just for them to regenerate HP and resources so they can continue their journey, is actually very important in the consequences of everything that's going to follow. So let's listen back in again.
Let's see if
Wait,
he's
I rolled?
hot.
Pretty good
You
looking.
did roll. You are the most attractive person in the party.
Lenny's
What?
hot.
But-
Lenny is hot.
Dumb.
Great time to come back in.
There.
Hot and dumb is exactly what you want in a man.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people want in women. That's
It's the opposite
perfect.
of Steve.
Thanks and kind of not thanks, I guess. I don't know if I should be flattered that you called me smart or insulted that you called me ugly, but thanks.
I hope these two don't start killing each other soon.
Okay, we're downstairs around the table.
Yeah, you're downstairs.
Alright,
Party
so
together,
now-
finally.
What a good-looking fellow. Here, have some more scones. Just pushing food onto him.
I'll grab a scone, put it in my mouth, and just start going.
Scone, 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 scone.
So this here, Nevitz, his name is Lenny.
We're gonna
And
skip
he's-
ahead a bit.
Hey, why did you come down?
Someone told me.
Oh, I can go on my own actually.
Here we
because
go.
These...
Well, let's back up just a wee
Yes.
bit. We want them to. But where's the next decision point?
I
Right.
think he's cute. He's like a little puppy. A
Yeah.
big puppy.
Bed for a while. Time. Was there anything else you wanted to do? Skipping.
Whalers Bay. How many days travel is that?
About a day there. Whalers Bay is where
And safely, like with a caravan. with other
what's her
travelers
face
or
is?
somebody,
Lady
or it
Sandra.
Always like on your own. I'm basically asking,
you-
is there a way to get to that town without interrupting my long rest?
Yeah, you could probably find a safe way there with a bunch of other people. The route is going to be pretty. I want to call it heavy terrain, rugged terrain is the route, I should say. So I would give you like a Constitution saving throw to see if it doesn't interrupt your long rest, because it is like heavy hiking, and you're gonna rip any wounds that are already. The idea of a long rest is to rest, relax, recuperate your wounds, and all that jazz. So if you're doing some like heavy hiking, you're not getting the long rest in. If it's a gentle stroll down the street, sure, fine, no problem. But like climbing up hills and hiking all over the place, or trying to push through brush, or getting your heart rate too high for too long of a period of time is definitely going to strain your long rest.
Good.
So I think in this situation, a con save is a reasonable way to give them a short hike that would be to the next town over. Because it's rugged terrain, but it's not a great distance.
Whalers Bay while we recover. Maybe we can track down that maid and ask her a few questions, so we don't have anything else to do in the meantime.
That'd probably be a good idea.
This is one of those interesting points. And in a moment, I'm going to chime in on this.
no.
But Nevitz, Stephen here, is talking about going and asking the maid in Whalers Bay if she remembers anything from here. But one of the initial things that happened is Lady Sandra was going to go there, and they had asked Lady Sandra to ask the maid about anything and bring back information. And the party sort of forgets between sessions, and there's always a struggle with as the DM to be like, the characters know this core information, but the players have forgotten it. Do we then say that the character has forgotten it too? Or do I step in and be like, hold on, you don't need to do that? And I think in this situation, I resolve it by just flat up telling them that they're going to get a message with what the maid said.
While we're
You did
here,
ask the lady to send you word from the maid. And she
Yeah.
promised that she would. But this is one of those decisions that could go in either direction. You could be like, your character forgot because your player forgot, or not. Tough call to make. There's never I haven't found a really good way of making that decision. So I just kind of make it and roll with the punches, and sometimes it bites me in the ass, and sometimes it doesn't.
okay, I want to go up to Lenny and I want to say, Lenny, do you want some new clothes? You want me to take you shopping?
Clothes?
Clothes. I want to gesture. I want to pull on my little puffy shirt.
Lenny will start to tug on it. Ooh, I like. Yes.
You want on you?
Yes.
Okay, let's go get clothes. Scone.
Oh, scone, very good.
All right, you head down to the market to get Lenny some clothes. We're gonna do a clothing shopping episode, everybody.
Oh, I love it, boys.
We've done clothing shopping episodes in the past with misclicks, and they were amazing and fun. There's all sorts of fine linen. I don't feel like these characters and players got into it as much as the misclicks did, though.
We got here. We got some dwarves hawking some wares, some like nice sturdy digging.
You'll also
clothes.
notice that the background music changed.
Your accessible like utility kilt style farming implement clothes. You got some half elves selling silks from the far north.
I don't remember what track we're using here. I think it's like Market Fair or something like that.
Lenny, what looks good?
Dwarves. I love little people.
What?
Okay, let's go. over to
Hopefully
the
it sounds like the party's in a big open air market.
There, and she looks up at you, the middle-aged dwarf that she is, and goes, "Well, I don't think we're gonna have anything that fits you."
Can you make something?
Because
that
he's a giant human barbarian and they're dwarves making clothing, so like they probably aren't making things for big ass people. They might make them for regular sized humans, but not giant Lenny.
All right. She blinks a few more times at your enormous height. What do you want? Clothes.
These are not necessarily important details to be like, the dwarves don't make clothes the size for you. That could go in any direction, but I like to bring up stuff like this, like, of course the dwarves wouldn't make something in your size, because I hope that it gets my players to think about the details. Think about the dwarves might not make something in my size. Maybe the dwarves' armor won't fit me either, or dwarven rings are meant for fattier fingers, although I think a dwarven finger is probably as fatty as a human's. But this is the sort of stuff that, as a DM, I think about, and so I would like to get the players to think about. And this is a non-important, non-threatening way to introduce those concepts, just by having the dwarf be like, I don't know if our clothes will fit you. Maybe they will. Small details.
shopping.
Yeah. So you guys come to some agreement about clothes for Lenny. And
I should say, it is a nice detail to see the party trying to outfit their new member with, like, basic necessities like nice clothes. You know, that's some nice attention to role-playing detail that I appreciate.
I want to ask Lenny if he has anything else that he needs.
And I'll gesture to my weapons again. This is all I need, besides scone.
Okay, sounds good.
Scone, it's an important thing.
So, someone chill out 200 copper
Yeah, I'll do
to get Lenny some decent clothes.
Lenny, what color is Lenny's hair? I'm like
Long brown hair.
long brown hair. Okay.
Like-
Oh, I guess I'll
Tarzan
just
hair.
take it out of our.
We're gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Oh my! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The party's gonna leave soon, and I want to get to the
In
next
Town
moment
Square,
where they're moving,
Nobles from all
leaving.
over have arrived to witness this man's execution, as well as a
right.
bunch of
The
various
execution.
knights.
Oh, fantastic! This is an important part.
Judgment,
We've been building this up for a little
some
while. We've been mentioning. Actually, we're gonna let it keep. No, we're gonna pause. We've been mentioning for a while now that people are being gathered from all over for this event. That there's going to be this execution, and knights and nobles from all around have been coming to this. I think I've mentioned it in the episode that they turned him in, and in the last episode, and now we're talking about it again here. Mind the thunder. It's a big deal. A noble and a knight is being executed for what is it when you kill? I guess killing your uncle would be. It's not fratricide. It's not regicide. There's a term for like killing your parents. It's like patricide. This is something close to patricide. A terrible, terrible crime. And the execution of this man is an important thing. And I've been feeling like maybe the players wouldn't want him dead yet. Maybe they want to ask him some questions because they kind of mentioned it before. But it's an awkward thing. And I didn't want his execution just to be a footnote, because it sort of is. It's just, you know, it's marked on the calendar as something somewhere on my calendar. Mission, Mutin. Here we go. You know, there's like an execution and a little, where is it? A little noose right there. It's it's an important date, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to maybe step in and say something, but I stop the execution, question the man, find out if there's a way that they could use him. But I didn't want to say directly to the players, do you want to talk to him again? I didn't want to prompt them so directly. So giving them the execution is like, that's happening, you're there for it, is a good way to give them like the last chance opportunity to
Of their position.
do something.
You guys
if
can
they
attend
want.
if you would like, but it's a quick public affair. They bring him out. They sentence him to death. He puts his head down on the block.
There we go. That's exactly what we need to do. And that's why I bothered to kind of talk about it and take our time and be like, yeah, there's the execution. Everyone's coming in from all around. They're going to kill him. You can be there if you want. They're going to do this. They'll bring him up. They put his head on the block. The executioner begins to raise his axe. And I'm walking through these details to be like, this is, it's happening now. And if he hadn't said, wait right now, if I had said the axe comes down and his head rolls off and then he was like, wait, I would have been like, no, he's dead. You missed your opportunity. And that's why I bother to talk about this, but I'm also not trying to like hint them too heavily. Listen to the tone of voice I use when we're describing this event.
By their higher ups as a reminder of their position in the world. You guys can attend if you would like, but it's a quick public affair. They bring him out. They sentence him to death. He puts his head down on the block.
I'm saying it very nonchalantly. I'm not trying to be like, all right, party, and then he's going to do this, and then this, because that's a very leading tone. It's like, I'm waiting for you to notice something. And I'm not trying to force their hand, but I'm trying to give them the opportunity. So I say it in a kind of nonchalant, boring way. Like I'm just talking about facts of the day before we move on to the important point. Because if they hadn't said anything, then it would have just been the facts of the day. If I had been like, and then they're going to bring him up. He looks so sad as they puts his head down on the block. And the guy brings up the axe. And everyone holds their breath and the axe comes. Like if I had used that sort of voice and then they'd be like, yeah, whatever. There would have been I don't know. It would have been harder to move on to the next thing. It would have seemed like that had needed more of a crescendo. So I kind of just kept it monotone and level. And at least one of them picked up on the importance of the moment.
Fuck. Is this happening right now, or are you just telling us how it's going to happen?
I mean, I'm telling you how it's going, but you've told me to wait, so...
Is the,
I'm very tempted
did he confess to everything?
Very tempted just to keep going, because he said wait, but then he didn't do anything, right? And there's a certain amount of time you can give a player when they say wait, and to allow them to collect their thoughts and make an action. But if you give them too much time, it's no good. You know, they gotta take their actions right away. So I'm glad that he started to speak up here. Really, I'd rather have him taking a direct action rather than use this to ask questions. But
when he was in prison, you said that he like confessed to the crimes, right?
He did. He confessed
to everything, to killing him because he wanted the mine and all that. He didn't mention any accomplice or anything else like that.
Correct.
Is the Chancellor here watching the execution?
Oh, yep. She's standing right next to the prince. Up on the little execution block. On the stage.
Do something already.
Can I run out from the crowd and beg for an audience for like 2 seconds? Are we all here, or is this...
I think the party's arrived. And as he's being, put his head on the block.
It's another one of those things. The party could have been there all together in one group. They could have been spread out. Maybe only some people had visited. I could have asked who attended the execution, and then we could have had a conversation about it. And that might have been the more accurate way to go about this sort of stuff. But in this situation, I felt like time was more important and pacing was more important. So it's just like, yeah, everyone's there. Only so that we can move forward with the pacing. If someone didn't want to be there and it was important to them that they didn't want to be there, they could have said, actually, I wouldn't be there, and we just would have moved on. In the meantime, I'm declaring actions for the PCs by saying they've come to the execution and they're standing right next to Nevitz. I really hate declaring actions for the party, but sometimes you got to do it to keep the pacing going. What?
And the executioner's getting his axe all nice and sharp and ready. You burst from the crowd yelling, wait, and approach the steps, and the Chancellor and the Prince see you, and the executioner pauses. The crowd sort of jeers. They're bloodthirsty and ready to see this happen. The guards block your route as the Chancellor steps forward, standing right behind them at the top of the stairs, looking down towards you, and goes,
Okay, I draw my... No, I'm just kidding. Okay, wait,
good one.
Am I okay to
Got me twice.
approach? Chancellor, may I please pull you aside for one moment to have a quick word with you?
We're a little busy. Is it important?
I understand, but it is of the utmost importance, and I think it might even be relevant to the safety of the people in your town.
She pushes
Good
past
arguments.
the guards and comes over to lean in close so you guys can whisper to each other.
Okay, I am so incredibly sorry that we did not bring this to your attention sooner. However, we are being tasked with an investigation, and it looks like the ghost of Lord Silverhorn...
Remember how we had said that Lady Sandra really wanted to keep it quiet about the haunting and all that jazz, and that she didn't want anyone to know, and that was the reason she was coming to Voa instead of going to the guards, and that it was really, really important to her that nobody knew that the place was being haunted because she didn't want that to be everyone's last memory of him. Well, Nevitz...
Okay, I am so incredibly sorry that we did not bring this to your attention sooner. However, we are being tasked with an investigation, and it looks like the ghost of Lord Silverhorn himself might be terrorizing people of your town.
Which is also sort of a lie. I mean, yes, it did terrorize some of the people in the town, but he wasn't going about terrorizing the people in general. Like, he was just haunting his own house. This is a bit of a lie that we're not questioning, because I like to let players tell lies that they then later have to remember and defend and worm their way out of trouble.
Now, I know that this is very last moment, but it is very possible that his nephew here, Kel Drake, might actually be of some assistance in this investigation. If it's...
Lord Silverhorn's ghost is terrorizing the town.
So he said terrorizing the people of the town, and I am, by saying Lord Silverhorn's ghost is terrorizing the town, I'm drawing that connection that the implication is he's attacking the whole town rather than just the house.
And this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Followed by incredulity, because certainly the Chancellor would know if there was a ghost terrorizing the town. She's involved with all sorts of things. She's got ears everywhere. She's the king, the prince's assistant. She hears everything before he hears it, right? So she would know if a ghost was terrorizing the town.
So, initially, we weren't sure if it was him, but we were doing some more investigation last night, and I believe that we came upon this tidbit of information. We were trying to ascertain the identity of the ghost, but it is possible that it is actually him. And it, for the safety of the town, it might actually be worth looking into a minute longer before executing his nephew here, just in case he might come in handy with this investigation.
The prince calls over, saying, "What's the holdup?" And the Chancellor quickly hurries over to him and whispers to him, and he gets a confused look on his face, nods a little bit, and raises his hand to the executioner, who puts down his axe and pulls up the doomed man. And the Chancellor comes back to you saying, the prince is interested in hearing a little bit more about this. Are you sure you need this man? People have traveled from all over for this event.
How many days have we rested?
You've had, I think, 1, 2, 3 nights of rest. It's Friday the 11th that this is happening.
Let me
not great.
just throw up one more, 3. Okay, wait, and then one more night of rest. Hold on, let me just making sure. Okay.
I can also boost your.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just making sure I'm at full HP. Just
good?
in case Koibu wants to throw a curveball at me.
A koi ball.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm still talking to the Chancellor. Who's in front of me right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just the Chancellor?
Chancellor.
Okay. It is entirely possible that maybe he will not be fruitful at all to our investigation. I'm just to ensure the residents of the town.
Here's another thing. Coming into an execution and stopping it, being like, actually, I don't know if he's going to be helpful, but he might be tangentially helpful to our investigation. This is the sort of thing where, like, he should have come up days ago with this. But now it's more interesting and more fun that he's doing it right now in the heat of the moment. It's definitely builds it for a better story, even if it's not the most effective and efficient route. So that's good. Better stories are more fun to play through. And if everyone did everything perfectly and efficiently, this game would be hella freaking boring.
Their safety, I think it might, I will leave this to your discretion. I'm so sorry for bothering you. But consider it. Nevitz is very timid, okay?
Bless you.
My boy just ordered fucking the execution of someone to stop.
Want this?
Very timid.
I only say this because I'm looking out for the safety of the people in your village. So I totally leave it up to you at the end of the day. It's your call, absolutely, your majesty. And I do an exaggerated bow or whatever.
She brings you up onto the stage to talk to basically repeat the same thing to the Prince of Cronwick.
Are we watching this?
Yes, you guys are watching. The crowd is sort of cheering and jeering. There's a lot of booze going on. People want to see blood. They came here for blood, to see a guy's head roll. And
I'll poke Daff and be like, "What tiny man doing?"
Did Nevitz? Did you tell us about this, Nevitz, or no?
I think that thought would have. Listen, Koibu started
Yeah,
talking
we
real
probably-
fast.
Yeah, we probably would have talked about it.
We
right?
would have talked about this on the way to the execution,
no.
for sure.
Okay, all right. I wanna.
But it's not worth getting into an argument, so you just let them say whatever.
Well, we might need that man and gesture to the, guy about to die in our investigation. So, postponed, I guess.
Okay, I'm going up to who? The prince?
The prince, yeah.
Um,
You say this man's crime, his deeds are so atrocious that they have raised the dead back to life and are haunting our town.
Your Highness, it is incredibly possible that that is the case. There was a very recent development in our investigation last night. Now, for obvious reasons, only you and the Chancellor know about this. We were trying to keep this under wraps as much as possible so as to not raise alarm with the people in the town. So I think it would be good if we had just maybe 1 or 2 nights to speak to Keldrake at your discretion, of course, My Majesty.
Good job from Nevitz with the trembling voice and the almost like the slight stutters at the end. Here.
Speak to Keldrake at your discretion, of course.
That discretion, of course. Well done. Nice little minor details. He's really getting into the role playing.
My
I
Majesty.
appreciate it.
Good job, Nevitz.
He looks out over the assembled people, the knights and the nobles who have traveled days just to come to watch the execution.
As he looks
will
out,
carefully weigh- oh, go ahead.
Prince, may I suggest, since it seems these people here are gathered for a good time, we just hired a very strong warrior. Perhaps there is somebody that would like to challenge him, and they could fight in the pits for a day to appease the travelers that have gathered here for blood.
He weighs all of this, looks out over the crowd, and comes forward to speak, settling the people down for a moment. Now, I'm not sure if this is Steven trying to get Lenny in a position where he can be killed already, or he's just trying to find a way to make amends. But the way all of that was said created a cloud of suspicion around his intents. Maybe I'm being paranoid. Proclaiming, Keldrake Silverhorn has committed crimes against the kingdom, against his family, and against the gods themselves. So heinous were his acts of evil that the very men he has slain have risen from the dead to haunt him and to haunt our town. Apparently, we are not quite done with this man, but let us all be reminded of his horrific deeds, to which there is more like
gasping and looking around, and some terror in people's eyes, and then questions from everybody all at once. Other nobles kind of pushing forward to the stage, asking things. You can hear them saying, like, "Where's the hunting? Are we safe?"
So they've kind of botched their investigation. They promised they'd do it quietly. If they get it done correctly, they might find themselves at the displeasure of Lady Sandra. And it's going to be interesting because Lady Sandra's not going to want to pay them full amount because she said do it quickly and quietly so no one knows. And here they've had it not just like let the story leak so it's a rumor, but had the Prince of Cronwick announce it publicly to the town, to people who are here, just like regular town folk, and to people visiting from overseas, to people who are here to see this man killed for his crimes. Like, it's not just that they've let it spill, they've made it into like the biggest possible announcement you could make. I mean, maybe you could make a bigger announcement in the capital, but it would have been a way, like, there ain't no way you could have done this bigger. You would have had to like write in the sky that it was haunted and leave it up there for ages, and then have people running around, in the town delivering messages to make a bigger splash than the Prince of Cronwick stopping an execution to be like, hold on, we need him for the haunting that's happening. Party done fucked up. She's definitely not going to want to pay them the full amount, and they are not going to be happy about that. They're going to fight her on that one. It's going to be interesting when that all plays out.
All sorts of things ring out, and the Lord's trying to like wave everyone down, but it's too much of a mess. And so his guards just escort him and the Chancellor and the prisoner and the executioner away. And as the Chancellor throws a comment at you saying, "Find us at the prisons," before the Lord and his retinue depart.
Is everyone still yelling and...
Oh yeah, people are pissed. They're
I'll
out.
start
The city
yelling.
is
All right.
haunted.
I want to go up. There's like a little stage, the executioners, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to fight my way through the crowd and try to go up to the little stage.
You make it up to the little stage.
Okay. I want to say, please, please, and try to, boom my voice over the crowd as best as I can using projection.
What are you
that I've
doing,
learned from
Daft?
Years of being a singer,
Daft.
bard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The scene was easily wrapped up and cleanly closed. What are you doing, Daff?
I want to say, please, everybody, it's all right. Not much is known about the ghosts so far, but I can assure you, you are all safe. They're contained to one place, and none of you must worry.
Where's the haunted place? Are we in danger?
You're not in danger. No one is in danger.
Musical change to try and fit a new theme instead of the rowdy crowd. Daff is coming and giving a speech, so we're doing some sort of like inspirational music because it feels like he's trying to inspire the crowd and, utilize them.
You're all only in danger
The song is Solemn Vow by Tabletop Audio.
of racking anxiety and fear, okay? Calm down as best you can. Take care of yourselves. Go home. Bundle up. Make some tea. You're all going to be okay. Please do not fret about this.
Where are the ghosts? Where are the ghosts?
That does not concern you, my good people.
The speech doesn't quite fit the music. I don't have music for an inspirational speech gone wonky.
You hear someone shouting, "I saw a ghost! It's over there!" Pointing to some
Crowds are chaos.
random building. The crowd is, kind of... They're hungry for information. You've
Yeah.
stopped a very public execution because of ghosts, and now you're like, well, don't worry about them. They're not a big deal, but we're going to stop the execution for it.
Okay. Can I...
Government conspiracy and cover-up is what this is.
All right, I want to try to intimidate them.
The whole crowd?
Well, I guess... I don't know.
Play an instrument.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll get out one of my instruments.
Make it a rock concert.
Yeah.
We're
I'll get out
swapping
my
this
violin.
event.
All
I'll
right.
get out my violin, and then I'll start singing a song.
What's the song about?
It's about it's about. I guess it's about
Scones.
It's about the ghosts. No.
It's about ghosts? You're gonna do a haunting melody on your violin about ghosts.
No, it's gonna be about the town. Yeah, it's.
And what about the
like
town?
Ghostbusters.
You're just gonna play Ghostbusters on your violin.
Can I do that? Is that allowed?
Give me a performance check here.
Who are you gonna call?
The music does not fit the theme.
Voa.
Voa, yeah. I also want to.
But what would you play for this, huh?
I also want to ad libs lyrics that like advertises our company and also tries to like calm down the people. You know what I mean? That's my goal.
Excellent.
You said performance?
Performance. Oh,
bitch!
it's amazing. Ooh,
Troll.
you play them a song, you talk about ghosts, you talk about who do you call when there's ghosts around, you call Voa. And you work in, like, we're on the corner of, I don't know, like, Count Street and Apple Pie, and you can find us there. I don't know what your address is. You can make it up.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the corner of Count and Apple Pie. Who would name things Count Street or Apple Pie is terrible names. Terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
It's one of my weaknesses as a DM is naming things.
Okay.
Or is it one of my strengths? I'm not sure.
Daff is a very, very, he's a showman, you know, so he's doing like he's dancing and stuff, you know, he's very showy. Very,
Perfect.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. The crowd eventually breaks up.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay.
You finish your songs. You guys head back to your office. I guess you can head on over to the prisons too if you'd like to go talk to the condemned.
Yes.
And this is where we would be if Daff hadn't made that wonderfully inspirational speech that sort of confused people, but also made them aware of
Can we chat with each
Voa.
other while we're walking there?
Absolutely. Because now the crowd knows that something's haunted, and they know that Voa's involved, which has given Voa a nice big publicity boost. And they say all publicity is good publicity, but we'll see.
Okay, have I finished my book by now? Can you give me the contents?
Sure. It's a decent murder mystery. That's hard to tell a player that the book is of no importance without saying it's of no importance. So I try and describe it, but you can see that I'm kind of improvising the book on the fly. Strung out along this river, and they keep disappearing, and at first they think it's like some sort of supernatural spirits or gods. Reality of the situation is it was just a book. And it's good to look into it. It's good to examine all the clues. It can be difficult to find a graceful way to tell a player that the clue that they're looking at isn't actually a clue and has no value to the story. He was going about murdering people who had like slightly wronged him in different ways. He was the bad guy. It was a 7.5 out of 10 book. Not terrible. It's like the 12th book in a series, so it's what you've come to expect from something with that many sequels.
I need a closer analysis. Can you please send me the text of the book?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just gonna start writing the book right now, and I'll send it to you when I'm done.
Okay. Okay. All right. As we're walking there, I guess. Sorry, we probably should have discussed this earlier, but it is possible that bringing Keldrake to this mansion might provoke some sort of activity from the ghost that could be
Clever.
useful from us.
But now we're prepared.
Yeah, I think we'll be a lot better off. But are we just gonna bring him to the mansion straight out? Maybe we should actually now that the prince and the chancellor are involved, they may be willing to sacrifice some guards to help us.
Well, maybe not sacrifice some guards, but
Well, not sacrifice.
yeah,
but
perhaps if we
allow
just
us.
tell them that we would like to bring Keldrake with us, they'll provide us with some amount of armed guards, and once we get there, we'll have more help when it comes to dealing with the specters.
I agree. They're clearly a little above our pay grade. That's all right. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'll nudge Toki and say,
Miss Toki, when time to eat?
We're gonna have dinner soon. Are you hungry, Lenny?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna fish in my bag, pull out like a small piece of candy, and give it to Lenny. It's
Lenny
a nice
will
candy.
enjoy it.
Thank you, Miss Toki.
No problem.
Excellent. All right.
Let's
So
see
what is the
this
other
next
conversation you're having on
scene.
your way there? You had something you want
I'm sorry, I totally just.
there?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Say to Lenny. Now,
Here we go.
Lenny, this is our first time venturing together, and I want to warn you that this place. And I wanna
Musical
say-
change to represent the dungeons. This is
is
actually
very spooky.
called
Lots of
dungeon
scary
cell or
things,
jail
things you might
cell.
have never seen before.
Wait, we're
Ghosts.
just going to the prison right now, right?
Oh,
Ghost
Are we?
in prison?
never
Yeah,
mind,
we have to go to the
never
prison and
mind.
talk
I
to
thought
first,
we were
yeah.
going to the mansion. My bad.
Explain that to Lenny.
Okay. I mean, he doesn't. I guess we should probably keep Lenny updated, right? We're going to a prison to get someone who committed murder against his own uncle to help us on our ghost investigation.
We break him out?
No, we actually got permission.
Oh. Okay.
We have permission to break him out.
We have permission to take him out.
Oh, not take him out. Not take him out.
Maybe later.
Me confused. Let's go.
Lenny will suck on his candy.
All right. You guys arrive
It's gonna
at
be
the
fun.
prison.
All right, prison
and
time.
There are the Prince of Cronwick, the Chancellor, the Prince's, guards and advisors, a few other nobles from out of town, and there seems to be some level of arguing over, the meaning of this when you guys arrive and get brought down. And the Chancellor, the Prince says, "Now,
I feel it's important to keep reminding the players that wherever the prince is, there are armed guards and dangerous people. Because in the past, there have been some incidences where I mentioned there's a person and I didn't bother mentioning the guards because I thought it was obvious that they were guards there, and players have acted as if there weren't, and it's caused problems and deaths and ends of campaigns and yada yada. So now I try to make sure to remind everyone that the prince is heavily guarded at all points in time. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but it's very intentional that I keep mentioning you see the prince and his knights and his guards and these other people that are with him. I want to create this expectation that he's always surrounded by guards and his retinue, and anything you say to him is sort of like, not public, but it's knowledge for the court."
now. We have the various operations agency here to clear this up. What do you have to say?
Yeah, Daff, our leader.
Well, we would like to request to take Mr. Silverhorn here to the Silverhorn Manor estate and perhaps
Manor or estate, or both are fine.
potentially provoke some ghosts. Now, we investigated the estate yesterday, and we heard we are led to believe that Mr. Lord Silverhorn is haunting his estate, looking
Yes,
for
you
revenge.
said that already. Why do you
Yes.
need this one?
Because
Seems like
he
Daff
wants
needed a little
revenge
bit of help.
on him. He needs, I think, when Mr. Silverhorn here will be brought to the estate, the ghosts will react very strongly. And we need him to see exactly what kind of ghosts these are and if they truly are Silverhorn.
And you will do this tonight?
Well, we were in a little bit of a long rest, but I suppose.
This is the awkwardness of the party interrupting the execution to be like, wait, we need this person, but also, like, we need him in 5 days. This is just an odd confluence of things. And one of the reasons I like using the alternate long rest rules, where a long rest is a week of downtime, is it makes the pacing fit the world a little bit better. And also because you can run into awkward moments like this, which are interesting to deal with in game. So let's see how they deal with it.
Okay.
I think
Here's what we've got.
I step forward and I put my hand on her shoulder. I think what she's trying to say is there are a few preparations that we must make to Sorry, I'm very nervous. I think what he's trying to say is that there are a few preparations that we would like to make before we actually, go to the manor in order to ensure the safety of the townspeople and to make sure that we have the appropriate artifacts with us to make sure that we're not wasting anybody's time. We would very much like to only bring him to the manor a single time, and then we'll be done with him, and we will be completely out of your way to do with him as you wish.
The prince, from the DM's perspective, we've already stopped the execution. Whether you bring him to the house 1 time or 100 times doesn't really matter. The execution's been stopped. Either we're going to do it tomorrow while everyone's still in town, or we're going to postpone it long enough that you can sort of use him to your heart's content. Looks you up and down with judging eyes before agreeing to your use. You can, when you've gathered what you need, come down to the jail. We will leave him in chains for you, and you can escort him where you need. But do be aware that we will have guards on the gates and on the walls, and if you try to smuggle him out of the city, it will be your head we are cutting off in public. Because the prince's concern here is that this is an elaborate escape attempt, but it's also a weird escape attempt because these are the people who brought him to justice to begin with. But that's the prince's major concern, is that they keep eyes on this guy and that he doesn't leave and that they hold on to him. I know it seems a little ridiculous to be threatening their lives over all of this from the perspective of the players, because the players aren't trying to kidnap him and steal him, but that's definitely the perspective of the prince. So that's what we get. We get the prince's like, we're going to hunt you down and smoke you out and kill you if you steal him, and clearly the party's not going to, so it feels a little bit weird, but that's just how that interaction should play out.
Well, we would never dream of that.
And actually, Prince, if I could so ask for both your safety and our own, as you know, we were involved in the investigation of that mine, and Kel Drake is quite the fierce warrior. It might even be preferential for you to escort us into the building. We truly have nothing to hide from you, and it would ensure the safety of all parties involved to make sure that he doesn't actually escape through any foul play, and we would very much welcome that kind of oversight.
This is not the first time the party has tried to get somebody else to do the grunt work or help out with their work and yet still get paid on their own. Right? Because last time in a previous episode, in episode 3, they tried to get a cleric to, maybe it was in episode 2, tried to get a cleric to exorcise the demons. And the cleric was like, oh, great, well, just give me your contract for removing the ghost and it'll be fine. And here the party's like, oh, well, why don't you give us a couple of guards to help us, like, take out these monsters as well? That shit ain't gonna fly. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps this is a matter for the state instead of a private agency.
Well, we don't...
I can have my men take care of the rest of these details. It's probably better to have those in charge taking care of hauntings rather than private company.
Has anyone in charge ever dealt with hauntings, true hauntings? I saw these ghosts with my own eyes last night, and they are fierce. I'm sorry to say, but I don't think any of your guards are very well equipped to handle them alone without us. experienced members of VOA who have dealt with such matters before. And
You've dealt with ghosts?
we have.
I know they haven't. I mean, not really. The prince doesn't know that, though. They're sort of lying to him. Not really, like, they've dealt with ghosts, meaning they all jumped off a tower and almost all died to ghosts.
Ghost hunters.
Ghostbusters.
This is not a matter to be tread on lightly, sir.
This is the most ghastly ghosts I've ever seen. So, I think we need as much help as we can get, and vice versa.
If you need as much help as you can get, then it only stands to reason that I will employ my guards, my clerics, and my wizards to see this matter to end quickly.
You can't just get free help with whatever your problems are. That's not how the world works. Because if they were to get help, I mean, what's the prince going to do? Be like, here's 1 or 2 guards? Like, here's an inadequate number? Or would he be more like, this is a real problem? Why don't we just take care of the problem altogether? You know, it doesn't really, like, if you call the police and you're like, police, there's a person in my house. Can you send? I've already got a shovel. Could you send 1 officer over to help me get rid of the person from my house? And the cops are gonna be like, I'm sorry, sir. We're sending 4 police cars over. Why don't you stand far away and let us handle this from here on out? You can't really go to the security of the nation or of the city or whatever and be like, just a little help. It's fine.
Don't worry. We'll take care of it from here. Whose house is it that's haunted? Is it Lord Silverhorn's?
We can take care of it, I assure you.
You're asking for help, and I'm saying I can take
Are your
instead.
Sorry.
I don't see why you need to be doing this.
well, are your I mean, we actually had a cleric of our own lined up to help us with the investigation, a very, very experienced cleric. So I think we'll be okay with just a few guards.
Can you manage this on your own, or do I need to step in and take care of it for you?
We will manage it on our own. Your Majesty.
You do not.
So clearly the party's in a tense situation and the negotiations aren't going that well. And I feel like I'm coming off a little bit hard, like I'm shutting them down, but I also feel like they need to be shut down in some of these areas. And I feel like the interplay between players and DM gets a little bit rocky here. Most of the time I try and be like, whatever you want to do, it's your path, go ahead and take it. I'm not going to get involved. And then there are some areas where I'm like, oh, if you're going to do this, this is going to be the consequence. And I feel like we keep running into situations where they want to like skirt the bounds of what's happening and they run into those hard walls. It almost feels like the party's searching for the hard walls to run into, and it's not exactly how I want the game to be going. I find myself like stopping them more often than I do in most of my campaigns. And I don't know if it's just like law of large numbers, eventually we're going to run into a whole bunch of problems all at once, or if it's something to do with their play style versus my play style, but I feel like we keep coming to a head here. Right here is where you can really feel it. Hold on, back up.
On your own, or do I need to step in and take care of it for you?
Right, that's a pretty assertive and aggressive way, and certainly I'm speaking in character, but that's very much the DM being like, you can take if you take his help, he's going to replace you, or you can take absolutely no help from him and it's fine. Right? That's a pretty hard line I'm dropping.
We will.
And Daff is just trying to like sort things out, and the Prince of Cronwick is the prince, and he's aggressive and he's assertive and he's paranoid and he's concerned. And so while this might actually be Caterino searching for the words, she's doing it in character, and so the prince is coming down on him. which is really me coming down on her. It's a bit of an awkward setup.
We'll manage it on our own.
But look at Caterino. She's a pro. She handles it easily and smoothly.
Your Majesty.
You do not bring confidence into this negotiation. That was an awkwardly phrased thing. I'm so sorry. Perhaps it would be better if we took care of it.
No, we can take care of it. We've been doing it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Then take care of it. And he storms out, sort of pissed.
Cereal this morning.
So you guys can come back and pick him up when you need, anytime in the next week, and take him to wherever you want. You'll have 1 or 2 guards to escort him around, and that'll be that.
What types of guards are these? These are prince guards. These got to be strong guys, level 5s.
Sure. You want to split XP with 2 level 5 characters?
We don't have to split XP with shit if they're dead, Koibu, but yeah, no, okay. All right, just checking.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got another 4 days of downtime before you're all rested.
Sounds good.
All right. Why don't we take a short break, and when we come back, we'll investigate the mansion.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that will be our cue to take a break here. Did this not break? Investigating with the first man. Prepare. We have a few more days of down. Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Where?
Oh, the VOD just breaks awkwardly. Hello, everybody, and okay, there we go. We're gonna take our break, and we'll be back in a few minutes as well. Bye-bye.